Hey, what's up everyone? Wyatt Hertz here, back with some more Homefront action from the OnLive's game service, and seeing how it's Friday, well, you all know what that means by now. It is another Featured Fridays match, another community spotlight round, where I, feature one of the guys from the Homefront community over there on OnLive, and looking at who it is this week, we're looking at masw980. So welcome to the spotlight, sir. Welcome to the channel. I'd always had plans of getting you up here. For the most part, I enjoy how you play the game. You know what I'm talking. The parts I don't like, you know what that is, right? I'm sure you know. I've made it known that I don't like that. But anyway, a great round here by Mas. Starting things off, we'll look at what he's playing: Lowlands, Team Deathmatch, and Battle Commander. And he posts up well here with the Scar LMG. Gets a couple quick kills, tracking the third in Timmy. He just can't line the shot up, but he's making a lot of noise, putting himself on radar, making himself quite visible to Ernest, who was across the way with a similar setup, probably on his belly there with a Scar LMG of his own, and he puts Mas down. So a little bit of bad luck there. Not a great start, but not a bad one either. Now looking at the kit, ACOG scope on there. He's got the sucker outfitted with full stability, so straight from the hip and steady aim. And you can see right here the full stability come into play with that hip fire kill on Timmy, who was in fact the guy he was initially tracking right before he died, and then going prone here for 4390 while aiming down sights. Now stepping around here, a little bit of sloppy fire on these two guys that are scurrying for cover, but some bad luck playing out one more time as Mas gets it in the back. Mini's rounding the gas station in behind him and puts him down. So really, I don't think there was anything he could have possibly done there. But he does get some revenge on Ernest, coming back in the heavy armor. He finally puts him down. He had climbed all the way to the 2nd star threat level. So it was good that Mas finished him off. So it wasn't a stellar start on the infantry side of things, but it was it turns out okay, because this is where Mas is at his finest, and he does rock this tank out all the way to the 5-star, but unfortunately it's not enough in the end. If you look at the numbers here, they're holding about a 10 kill deficit right now. This deficit has formed early on, and it's just something that his team can't recoup over time, despite a great performance by Mas in his armor where he likes to play. So coming in here, we'll take a look at the abilities he has on this tank: a gyro, speed boost, and faster reload. And you know what? I like that because that's exactly how I set up my tanks. Faster reload, always better when you can pop a new shell out a little bit quicker, do a little more damage at a higher rate of fire. Gyro and speed boost, obviously for maneuverability, being able to crank that turret around or the cannon around when you're getting swarmed or facing multiple enemies will certainly be a benefit. And the speed boost for when you're getting chased down by enemy birds that are chipping away at you, or when you're trying to get out of a cluster bomb coming your way, which you will see. He drives right through one and takes minimal damage coming up here shortly. Now let's look at why, Mas, I know him for, I recognize and commend his tank work in the games. You can see him driving it on this axis that he's driving on from side to side, and just some great transition there between moving forward in the tank and moving in reverse, and he looks like he's really comfortable there, and he is. Now, when you see Mas in a tank, you'll usually see him where he is right now, on a perimeter, and you saw him drive right through that cluster bomb there. He must have gotten a little bit lucky. He suffered some real minimal damage. He didn't even get put in the yellow, so got a little bit lucky there, but you can see him as he's taking fire. He keeps that range. He backs up a little bit and stays cool and calm. He lines the shots up and makes quick work of the guys that are putting fire his way. He also uses those missile defenses really well. That's always the mark of a good armor driver or a good heli pilot, is if they use their missile defenses well while in battle. That will save your life countless times in a good run. So right here, as I said, he likes to work the perimeter, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm only guessing at this. There's probably a few reasons why he likes to do it. Number one, being able to keep your range, being able to go out of bounds a little bit if you need to keep guys from putting a lot of fire your way. Again, on the perimeter, you're only having to focus in one specific direction. So right now, he's confident that there's nobody coming in from his 9 o'clock, and he can focus all of his attention in this direction, right? And the third reason I would guess is that along the perimeters is often where you find spawn locations, and that is certainly the case here. Certainly how this battle is playing out, and he gets a lot of resistance that comes his way that he can make quick work of really fast, So it's some good reasons to work the perimeter. You'll find him here on the backstretch on Lowlands. You'll see him working the perimeter, the infield on farm. You have seen it in previous videos, and often you'll find him kind of camped out at one of the ends of the road or up on a hilltop on crossroads, right? So right here, there it is. There's the 5-star maxing out the tank. doing all he can really do with it, and that will be all he does with it, as he just gets overwhelmed there. He did take, I think, an RPG or something, and then the Timmy tank came rolling around the gas station there, followed up, backed up by Toolman, who swooped in low, doing a dive bomb in his Apache, and just dropping his payload on Mass and scrapping the armor. But Mass, diligent here, coming right back in for some revenge, opting for the LAV so he can ground this bird. And you know what? Let's take a look at the abilities in this one. Big stick and speed boost. And again, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. This is exactly how I set up my LAVs, and it is a really effective setup. The LAV strong against both ground and air armor, and really strong against infantry as well. So I highly recommend putting big stick in there. Only 2 shots with the secondary cannon to put down an enemy bird, and with the big stick from the primary cannon, you can do a lot of damage to enemy armor really quickly with it. So, and really, you know, if you get the jump on those enemy tanks or you use your cover wisely, you can suffer minimum damage in the exchange. So I recommend that loadout as Mass has it set up. So really, things are just winding down now, 9,000 to 9,800. The match is all but over, and as I said earlier, they just couldn't, you know, recoup those losses that they suffered early on. But a great performance. Mass certainly did put the effort in to try and bring in the victory. Just fell a little short, though, in the end. But a close game. So a 24-3 for him. Certainly worthy of being up here on the channel. And let's get right in. Let's not miss a step here and get right into the kits, because he's got a few of them here. You know, I asked him for a recommended kit, and the guy wrote me a goddamn book. Can you believe this shit? Anyway, he does have a few of them here that I think are mostly his favorite kits, right? And he just couldn't settle on one. So we'll get to them, and we'll try and run these down as quickly as possible here. The Scar LMG, the very first kit he's recommending, the Scar LMG, the exact same kit he started the game with. Full stability in there, so steady aim, straight from the hip. The main purchase slot in that loadout are the thermal goggles, which when used with the Scar LMG, when you're posting up on a location like he had started at that on top of that gas station rooftop, great ideal times to click on those thermal goggles and see it just gives you, it highlights the enemies as they're charging your way. Can make you aware of them that much faster. Moving on to the next kit, going down one. This is a runner-gunner kit, the Diablo SMG, main purchase slot, flak jacket. Obviously, I can't argue with that. You need a flak jacket, at least to have the option to go to a flak jacket when you're doing some heavy frontline killing. In the infantry abilities, straight from the hip, quick draw, and tack reload. Going down to the next one now, he didn't give me any abilities with this. He's just really recommending the weapon. The T3 AK, basically, he said, and this was kind of inspired by watching me use it in both the videos and on live, so at least I'm doing my part for something out there, right? He said he saw me using it and picked it up himself and enjoyed using it, you know, so now it's in his regular rotation of kits that he'll go to. Now the last one, what is this? What the hell is this, Mass? You snuck this in here pretty quietly at the end, didn't you, sir? Didn't you? Not on my channel, sir. Not on my channel. No, I'm joking, of course. I will call this out, and if you've played against Mass, I'm sure you are well aware of what's coming. And if you know me, well, you know it's at least limited down to one of 2 things. But I'll call it out here. And of all 4 kits, I would say this is probably one of his more used kits, you know. So I would say he probably would have recommended this all by itself, but probably thought perhaps I would have protested about it all. But you know what? I don't have as big a problem with this gun as a lot of guys maybe think I do. It's when high-ranking guys use it every round that I have a bit of a problem with that. But Mass isn't one of those guys. So let's get to it. The Express shotgun, obviously, is what it is. Tack reload in there, steady aim and penny pincher. So this is a great loadout for cul-de-sac, you know. Coupled with the penny pincher, he has both Hellfires and white phosphorus airstrikes. So you know what? You can do a lot of damage with this kit quickly, especially with all the BP you'll accumulate with that overpowered Express shotgun, because it is an overpowered shotgun, Mass. You know, everybody knows that. But you know, the BP that coming in with the penny pincher in there and having those airstrikes, you can be bringing in a lot of bombardments onto that battlefield quickly with this loadout. So there it is, and I mean, that's a decent enough loadout. I know I give the shotgun users some flack at times, but really it's just the guys that don't branch off into other weapons, into some of the more well-balanced weapons those are the times that I have a problem with it. And Mass, like I said, isn't one of those guys, but he does use it a little more than I would like to see him using it. Anyway, let's move on. It's time to get to the danger rating. First, let me thank Mass for getting involved in this, and you put on a good performance here in this. Despite the loss, you did put a good effort in for the victory and a good performance for the video. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Mass, I hope you enjoyed the vid, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well that are watching. I hope you leave a like or a comment for Mass's sake. I say it every week, every Friday, but I do mean it, and it has been nice to see the support going out to the guys that are getting in these videos. It's certainly good to see. So that's really about it. I will post Mass's channel. He doesn't have any uploads. I don't think he does any uploading, but he has a bunch of favorites over there, and there might be something worth checking out. So I'll put it in the annotation. There that is, and I'll throw it in the description as well, so you can get to Mass's channel if you want to check that out. All right, so the danger rating. Coming down to the danger rating. Now, the determining factor for the danger rating is really your tank work. I recognize you as this kind of a great tank commander, a great tank driver out there on the battlefield. Your tanks can be tricky to take down. You usually need a few guys in there trying to do it, or you really need to get lucky if you're by yourself and just manage to sneak in behind him or something while he's not looking and drop a C4 on him. But you really need to manage to overwhelm a mass tank when you see it. So what you're getting here is masw980, and I'll put it up in one saying here, the Desert Fox Dangerous. There it is, right up on screen. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, Wyatt, what the hell is a Desert Fox, and who's the Desert Fox? Well, Google it, first of all. That'll give you a little bit of information, and I'll just do a couple little tidbits of information here. The Desert Fox was a nickname given to a German tank commander, or a German field marshal general who commanded several panzer divisions in World War II. Now, yes, he was a Nazi, but bear with me here. Bear with me. He was respected and feared by the Allies. The nickname the Desert Fox was actually given to him by the Allies for his prowess on the battlefield in commanding these panzer divisions, right? So he was most known for his campaigns in France and Africa. He was eventually chased out of Africa by the Allies, despite putting up a great stand over there. He was chased out, which is even more reason to give Mass this danger rating, because he did eventually, despite putting up a great offense here, really did get chased out of the lowlands. So it makes it that much more fitting. But as far as Nazis go, let me just clarify this and give you an insight into this guy's character. He was one of the more honorable ones that were out there. He didn't take part. His divisions were never convicted of war crimes or anything like that. He didn't take part in aiding Hitler in his pursuit of the genocide of the Jewish population, and he regularly ignored Hitler's orders to mistreat or have POWs killed that were under his watch. He refused to ship the Jewish population in the regions that he was commanding off to concentration camps, and he just didn't take part in all that BS, He was a warrior, he was a soldier, but that was where he drew the line. He had respect for life, for human life, which Hitler did not. And actually, after he got chased out of Africa by the Allies and sent back to Germany, he plotted, because he was fed up with Hitler's complete disregard for human life, fed up with it, and he plotted to have Hitler assassinated from inside the Nazi regime, right? So, and eventually what happened was Hitler caught wind of it and forced him to commit suicide with a cyanide pill, under the promise that his family would not be harmed if he did, and he would still be given some kind of military honors. So a kind of an interesting story there, And so it shows the man's integrity in the end. He was a soldier, first and foremost, and the whole, Hitler's drive for, to torture and eliminate the Jewish population, and just his mistreatment of POWs. Rommel wanted no part of that, and certainly stood up to Hitler in that regard. So this is a fitting danger rating. There's nothing really bad about it. And Mass, it speaks volumes, because it is a high danger rating as far as, tank commanders go, and I think you deserve it. So there it is. masw980, the Desert Fox Dangerous. Now, guys, I really should wrap it. We're dragging a little long here. So, guys, again, thanks for watching. And until next time, remember Wyatt Hertz. Later.